power is never given. It's taken. While most philosophers wasted centuries arguing how the world should work, one man dared to confront the brutal truth of how it actually does. His name was Niccolò Machiavelli, and his ideas were so disturbing, so dangerously accurate, that his name became synonymous with deception and ruthlessness. But what if everything you've been taught about him is wrong? Because here's the truth, Machiavelli wasn't evil, he was honest. He stripped away comforting illusions to expose the real machinery of human control. His principles of power, manipulation, and perception still shape the modern world, quietly driving decisions in politics, business, and even your personal life. Today, we're diving into the forbidden playbook, the one the powerful don't want you to understand. These aren't dusty old ideas. They're the cold, precise mechanics of influence, and they've barely changed in 500 years. Part 1: The Truth About Human Nature. Machiavelli's brilliance wasn't in inventing manipulation. It was in recognizing the predictable patterns of human behavior. While other thinkers idealized man, Machiavelli dared to observe him as he truly is, inconsistent, self-interested, and easily led. Men are so simple and so obedient to present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will let himself be deceived. This isn't cynicism. It's strategy. Machiavelli saw that fear and self-interest are the two great motivators behind nearly all human action. People will abandon principle for security. They'll betray virtue for convenience. And when you see this, the game changes, because now, you're not reacting to appearances, you're responding to reality. Think about it. The employee who flatters management in meetings criticizes them behind closed doors. The friend who swears loyalty disappears when it's inconvenient. The public that chants for justice today demands blood tomorrow. Machiavelli didn't condemn this. He mapped it. He knew that to gain power, and more importantly, to keep it, you must operate on the terrain of real human behavior, not the illusion of it. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you truly are. The gap between appearance and reality? That's your leverage. Most people judge by what they see, not what is. And in that blindness lies your opportunity, to shape perception, manage expectations, and lead the crowd without ever revealing your hand. Part 2: Fear versus Love, the Architecture of Control. Machiavelli asked the infamous question, is it better to be loved or feared? His answer, if you cannot be both, it is far safer to be feared. Love is beautiful, but it's unstable. It's based on obligation, and obligation fades. Fear, however, fear is consistent. It anchors behavior through consequences. People might stop loving you, but they rarely stop fearing the results of crossing you. Importantly, this isn't about cruelty. It's about clarity. Fear only works when it's tied to predictable consequences. Arbitrary punishment breeds hate. But rules? Boundaries? These create structure, and structure commands respect. Modern examples. In relationships, the partner who can walk away holds the power. In business, the negotiator who can say no controls the terms. In leadership, the one who enforces consequences, not with emotion, but with consistency, wins loyalty and results. The principle is simple: make others rely on you more than you rely on them. And ensure that crossing you comes at a cost. Part 3: The Power of Perception, Virtue as Strategy. It is not essential that a prince should have all the good qualities, but it is essential that he should seem to have them. This is the foundation of modern image management. Appear virtuous. Be ruthless when needed. And know that people care more about what they see than what is true. This plays out in 4 Machiavellian strategies. Selective virtue: appear honest, loyal, and kind, but know when to abandon those traits for survival or victory. Virtue is a costume, not a chain. Symbolic action: loud, visible acts carry more weight than quiet integrity. A politician photographed helping disaster victims is praised more than one who drafts effective but invisible legislation. Information control, shape what others know. Not with lies, but with selective truth. Emphasize your wins, bury your losses, and time your disclosures. Delegated cruelty, be seen as the source of kindness. Let others carry out your unpopular decisions. Credit the good. Outsource the bad. This isn't deception for deception's sake. It's perception as power. And those who master it gain influence without direct confrontation. Part 4, The Prince's Toolbox, 5 Practical Tactics. Let's break down Machiavelli's core tools, strategies used not just by monarchs but modern CEOs, influencers, and politicians. Strategic generosity. Give gifts that bind, not just please. Make sure the beneficiary knows who to thank. Anonymous kindness builds no power. Calculated mercy. Don't wound your enemies, destroy or convert them. Partial forgiveness breeds resentment. Total resolution breeds loyalty or silence. Crisis leverage. Never waste a disruption. Use it to push through changes that resistance would otherwise block. People accept control most during chaos. Gatekeeping. Be the person through whom all benefits flow. Whether it's promotions, opportunities, or social access, make others depend on you. Reputation engineering. Create a record of smart predictions and strong outcomes. Even a mediocre plan executed with confidence builds an aura of inevitability. These tactics aren't just medieval theory, they're standard in every power structure today. Those who understand them win. Those who ignore them get used. Part 5, The Modern Machiavellian, Influence Without Detection. In today's world, power hides behind politeness. The new Machiavellians don't shout, they suggest. They don't demand, they shape incentives. The workplace strategist praises publicly, undermines privately. The social manipulator creates voluntary choices that lead only one way. The relationship controller never says, "You owe me," they imply it, subtly. This is metamanipulation, the illusion of freedom while guiding the outcome. And it works because it bypasses awareness. Ask yourself, have you ever felt like you made a free choice, but later realized the options were rigged? That's modern power, influence disguised as autonomy. Final thoughts, is Machiavellian thinking evil? Machiavelli didn't make humans selfish. He just exposed our instincts. And in doing so, he handed us a powerful question. Is it more moral to pretend the world is kind, or to master its reality so you can change it? The answer: power is neutral. The tools Machiavelli described can be used to dominate or to protect. To exploit or to uplift. It's not the tactics that define you, it's the purpose behind them. To ignore these truths is to remain vulnerable. But to wield them with awareness, responsibility, and restraint, that is the path of the enlightened strategist. If this video opened your eyes to the real dynamics of power, subscribe now. We explore the deeper truths of stoicism, strategy, and human nature, without illusions, without apologies. The game has always been rigged. It's time you learn the rules. Conclusion: the clarity of power. Machiavelli did not write The Prince to corrupt mankind. He wrote it to liberate a certain kind of person, the one tired of losing to those who pretend to play fair but manipulate behind the scenes. His writing was not a call to wickedness, it was a mirror. And in that mirror, we see the human soul not as we wish it to be, but as it truly is, opportunistic, inconsistent, afraid, and driven by self-interest. That clarity, while uncomfortable, is power. Because once you strip away the illusions, you realize something profound: those who win in life are not the loudest, the kindest, or the most righteous. They are the ones who understand the game and play it with precision. This doesn't mean you have to become deceitful. It means you have to become aware. Aware of how people think. Aware of how they behave under pressure. Aware of how perception, more than reality, governs influence. It means understanding that morality without strategy is vulnerability, and that power without wisdom becomes destruction. Machiavelli's insights offer more than tactics. They offer a framework. A way to think clearly in a world clouded by social performance and emotional manipulation. A way to make decisions not based on what others say they value, but what they actually respond to. And the moment you begin to see the world through that lens, everything changes. Beyond manipulation, choosing your strategy consciously. The most common misconception about Machiavellian philosophy is that it requires you to abandon ethics. That's false. What it demands is honesty. Not necessarily with others, but with yourself. The world is not a meritocracy. It is not governed by fairness. It is governed by leverage, perception, fear, and incentives. Once you acknowledge this, you are faced with a choice. Do you passively navigate this landscape, hoping goodwill will protect you? Or do you become fluent in its rules so you can bend them, strategically, ethically, or ruthlessly, as needed? Here's the hidden truth: most people are already playing Machiavellian games. They just don't admit it. They smile while angling for position. They flatter while hiding envy. They offer help while keeping score. What makes a conscious Machiavellian different is awareness. You don't need to manipulate everyone, but you do need to recognize when it's being done to you. You don't need to exploit people, but you should never become exploitable. You don't need to lie, but you must understand that truth without timing is sabotage. Machiavelli gives you the tools. It's up to you how you wield them. Power, perception, and peace of mind. At its core, Machiavellian philosophy is about mastering the mechanics of human behavior. But mastery isn't the end goal. The end goal is freedom. When you truly understand power, you stop chasing validation. You no longer need to be loved by everyone. You no longer fear being misunderstood or disliked. You move with purpose, not apology. You speak with weight, not noise. And perhaps most importantly, you act from principle, not performance. Because once you understand what drives people, you stop being reactive. You stop being surprised when friends betray, when support fades, when admiration turns to resentment. You stop being bitter about the nature of the game and start learning how to shape it. That clarity brings peace. Not the naive peace of ignorance, but the earned peace of inner control. The hidden strength of strategic silence. One of Machiavelli's most enduring lessons is the power of withholding. Withholding your emotions, your intentions, your reactions. In a world of oversharing, the person who can hold their tongue and mask their strategy is rare, and therefore powerful. Power isn't about noise. It's about knowing when to act and when to wait. When to speak and when to observe. When to show strength, and when to appear weak to bait your opponent into overreach. We live in a time when being emotionally reactive is normalized. People post every thought. They justify every action. They explain themselves constantly. But power lies in the opposite direction, restraint. Strategic silence is a weapon. It creates uncertainty. It forces others to reveal themselves. It makes you unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. The double-edged sword of virtue. Machiavelli didn't reject virtue. He simply refused to let it become a weakness. It is well to seem merciful, faithful, humane, religious, upright, but you must be prepared to change to the opposite when necessary. If you cling to virtue at the wrong moment, it can cost you everything. But if you appear virtuous, and act decisively behind the curtain, you can achieve your goals while still commanding respect. This duality, public virtue, private strategy, is not hypocrisy. It is high-level leadership. It allows you to maintain trust while making tough decisions. It allows you to lead with strength without becoming a tyrant. It allows you to protect those who matter while neutralizing threats before they grow. Real leaders don't choose between goodness and effectiveness. They find a way to reconcile both, or they fall. A final warning: and an invitation. Machiavelli offers you a map of power. But he also offers a warning: if you do not understand how control works, you will always be controlled by others who do. There will always be people in your life, managers, lovers, colleagues, friends, who exploit your predictability, your desire to be liked, your fear of conflict, your need for approval. They smile while steering you. They praise while weakening you. They promise while preparing to replace you. That's the world Machiavelli saw clearly. And once you see it too, you are no longer a pawn in someone else's game. You become a player in your own. But the invitation goes deeper. Machiavelli doesn't just teach you how to win. He teaches you how to see. To see through the lies of comfort. To see beneath the surface of people's behavior. To see how your own emotions are used against you. And in that vision, you are reborn, not as a villain, not as a tyrant, but as a sovereign over your own choices. Choose your path wisely. Power, like fire, illuminates or consumes. Some will hear these teachings and use them to deceive, exploit, and destroy. But others, those with discipline, will use them to protect what matters. To defend themselves from manipulation. To lead with vision instead of weakness. To influence with intention instead of accident. Which path you take is up to you. But one thing is certain. In a world ruled by hidden influence, only the Machiavellian mind survives with clarity, autonomy, and strength. So don't reject the game. Learn it. Master it. And choose to play it better.